Bless up, y'all. This is King Kevin Dorval in the building, baby. I'm here today to drop some knowledge on the Haitian soldiers that fought in the Battle of Savannah. Some call it the Siege of Savannah. Now, the Haitian soldiers that took part in the American Revolutionary War, which many of us have never heard about, we're taught a great deal about the American Revolutionary War and how big it was, how important it was against the British to fight for the independence of America. However, there's a lot of the history that should have been told, especially when it came to the black soldiers, the soldiers of African descent that came from the island of Saint Dominique. On October 9th, 1779, there were 545 Haitian soldiers that came to Savannah, Georgia, to take part in the battle under the French umbrella. Now, these were volunteer soldiers. They called them the Chasseurs Volontaires de Saint-Domingue, which means volunteer soldiers from the island of Haiti. These were free men, not slaves. Free men that left their wives, their children, their properties in Haiti to come and fight for the French to help America gain their independence. Now, me being a young black boy, it would have been great for my confidence. Not only am I black, not only am I Haitian, but I'm also of African descent, obviously. So the fact that I did know this information, most of, as a matter of fact, all of my peers didn't know about this, and I just came upon this information at the age of about, I'll say 27, 10 years ago, when I read about the Haitian monument that was being unveiled in Savannah, which is located in Franklin Square in the heart of downtown Savannah, Georgia. Now, the fact that it's in downtown Savannah, Georgia, in the heart of like a whole bunch of traffic, means that they held these soldiers in high regard. You know, they revered these soldiers. Now, why is this important and why am I making this video? As you guys know who followed me over the years, I make a lot of history videos. I make a lot of videos on quite a few things, especially when it comes to history, especially when it comes to understanding the significance of, you know, African history, black history. So that's why I'm making this video, to educate those who don't know anything about the Haitian soldiers or anything that, you know, people of African descent have made towards civilization. Now, whether you're learning about Kemet and Kush and you know, South Africa, West Africa, especially when it comes to the Dahomey tribes, the Warrior Kingdom tribe of West Africa, many of the tribes and the people of the continent of Africa. You know, we're not taught that information in school because they want to hold that away from us so that they can keep us in a docile, stagnant state of mind, thinking that we are dumb, stupid, and all we want to do is party, drink, have sex, and count money and wear shiny things, that's not the case. Haitian people are a great people. We are beautiful. We are African, and we've made contributions to society, not just in America, but throughout the world, even in South America. You know, when they have the Bolivar, or whatever his name is, Solid Bolivar, whatever his name is, the general down there in South America. Well, we helped them. Bolivar, I could say his name for that in the world. We helped them, you know, great deal, and gain independence, not just with, you know, soldiers, but with money and food. But he even turned his back on us, just like the American government turned their backs on us. You know, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, both can act as if we didn't play any role in their independence, when truth turned us down a little bit. But truth be told, we did. We played a great deal, you know, in independence. As a matter of fact, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington both put $250,000 each. You know what I'm saying? Each. $250,000 is $500,000. Let me tell you something. That's equivalent of $4.8 million today. Back in the 1800s, they both put up $250,000 to give to Napoleon Bonaparte and the French government to make sure that the Haitians did not be successful in their fight for independence, which we did gain our independence. The war ended in 1803, officially 1804, and not just the American government, but the European government didn't even want to recognize our independence, the fact that we were a free nation. And the Haitians, Haiti is the first independent black nation in the world, the first successful slave rebellion that turned to a state in the world. That is vitally key information. The first, let me repeat that again, the first black nation that came as a result of a successful slave rebellion and became their own free nation. Another thing I want to make clear is that whenever you're talking about people that were enslaved, we're talking about Africans that were enslaved, the history books would love to call them slaves. The documentaries would love to call them slaves. The teachers would love to call us slaves. No, we were enslaved. We weren't born slaves. We were enslaved into their system. Now, some of us were born into slavery, but does not mean that our title is slaves. So that's a correction I want you guys to make when you're talking about history and when you're discussing our ancestors. Do not call us slaves. We were enslaved. Okay? Now, in 1779, the 545 soldiers that fought in the American battle, the American War for Independence, 60 of them ended up becoming enslaved once they were free. Now, these people, like as I mentioned, gave up their homes, gave up their lands, gave up their wives and children, their families, their businesses to come and fight with the French so that they could get independence. Now, that's completely unfair because they contributed a great deal to the war. Now, the siege of Savannah was successful because they were outnumbered and outgunned. Now, there were a total of 3,500 soldiers, including the Frenchmen. 545 were Haitian descent. The rest were Frenchmen. But the British were more skilled, seasoned veterans, and they had the fort, set up so that they can just cock their guns. If you ever see those movies, old school guns, or they call them muskets or whatever, they would take the metal iron and stick the gunpowder or the little pepper bullets. Well, actually, they're more than little. I actually touched one before. They look like little stones, little silver stones. They just stick them inside the guns and then take the metal rods, stick the guns in there, and they have like these knives at the end of the guns. Like some of these knives are like 10 inches long. Like these are big knives. So they were able to sit in the fort, the hide, they had a barrier, and just lift up their guns and shoot. So literally, the Haitian soldiers, French soldiers as well, and the Americans that was with them, they ran into an ambush. Now I just came to Savannah. I just came from Savannah, Georgia, this past weekend, October 26th, to take part in the Haitian American Historical Society, which is an organization that comes every year to Savannah to pay homage to our African brothers who paved the way, for us to be here today. Not just the African kings, but African queens as well. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty cool, and I was able to come and participate. I've wanted to be there for the past 10 years. I wanted to come and see the statue, the monument. And if you go to my Instagram, @CourageToBelieve, you see the pictures that I took, or you can Google Haitian Monument in Savannah or Haitian Monument in Georgia. You see this big, beautiful statue, and there's 6 soldiers up there. And had I not been there this weekend, I probably would have known the full history behind it. It took them $700,000 to build this monument. $700,000. That's nearly $750,000 raised to build this monument, and they have a fence around it. It's beautiful. And the thing that resonated well with me was the fact that I was able to speak only for a couple of minutes, which you go through my YouTube channel, you see some videos that I've made about it, and also regarding Haiti. One of my biggest videos, as a matter of fact, the way I got invited to this event was because of a video that I made about 2 years ago before I went to Haiti in 2017, which is where I was able to purchase this beautiful painting. It was actually in a frame, but I broke the frame so I can roll up the painting and bring it on the airport with me. But this statue here is the city dollar. If you guys can see it, you can Google it. The city dollar is spelled, if I'm not mistaken, CITADELLE or DALE. I seen it spelled a couple of ways, but La Citadel is something built by Henry Christophe, who was one of the soldiers in the siege of Savannah. Now, if you go to see the statue, the Haitian monument, or you can Google it, but I highly, it behooves you to go and see this yourself, because when I seen it myself, I was at awe. This is a beautiful monument. As a matter of fact, it's rare that you would see a statue like this anywhere in the United States. There's a few nice statues I've seen. I've seen statues and monuments all over the world, whether it was in Haiti. Haiti got these big ones, as a matter of fact, of the, they call them the fathers of Haiti, the forefathers of Haiti, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint, Louverture, Henry Christophe, and a couple other ones. Big statues there in Cap Haitian, Haiti, which is located in the northern part of Haiti, which is also located, not too far from where the La Citadel is. It's probably about, I'll say 15 miles away from the La Citadel. Now, Henry Christophe he was a drummer boy. He's depicted as a drummer boy on the monument, but he also, when he grew up, now this is what made this battle so significant. He grew up, he's seen the battle, and he ended up becoming the king of Haiti, the first and only king of Haiti. He created a monarchy. He was a monarch, and pretty much ruled Haiti, the northern part of Haiti, and he was battling the southern leaders that wanted to divide Haiti. It was all big headache, Jean Pichon and Boyer, who was ruling the southern part of Haiti. So when King Henry Christophe became ill and sick, and that's when Haiti really started getting out of control and the foreign powers took over, which would, go to my video, Haiti is rich in oil and gold, which is, it's a whole other story, but it's part of the reason why they depict Haiti so poor. But let me not digress too far. Let me get back to the subject. I've touched back on some of my own opinions and thoughts based on my research and experience as an African Haitian. Now, Henry Christophe was just a drummer boy at the time, and it's even recorded that he was hurt during the battle. Even though he was beating the drums, you look at that the monument, you see that he had a big machete, on his left side, right? And so that just speaks the volume of how brave he was. Now, why these Haitian soldiers are so significant? One of the main reasons why is because if they did not help fight and help the French and Americans escape and retreat from the British, because as I mentioned, they really got into ambush, a massacre when it was out. It was actually a suicide mission, the truth be told, because the lieutenant D'Estaing, who was the French general, D'Estaing, he allowed the British, gave him a opportunity under the General Benjamin Lincoln, with the American general. They allowed the British, they gave them a truce, they gave them 24 hours to retreat or to give up, right? So what ended up happening is the British, having that much time in their hands, waited, and that 24 hours turned to 48 hours, which gave British more time to get more soldiers to come there and to help them, in which they took over Savannah. Not only did they take over Savannah, it gave them a stronghold in Charleston, South Carolina, which was, literally untested, uncontested. They easily took over Charleston, which was British main point and source of money. This is where they got most of their money from. I believe over 30% of their money came from the colonies within South Carolina, particularly in Charleston, Carolina, which you all know is a black, a huge black population there. And it's big party city. So if you come to South Carolina, Charleston I heard is the place to be. I've been to Greenville, but I've never been to Charleston, which I do plan on visiting Charleston soon. Now, why did the French get involved in the American Revolutionary War? Well, they wanted to expand their territory. So they was actually supposed to be there sooner in Savannah, but they were a bit too busy taking over Grenada, which is in the Caribbean. So by them taking over Grenada, they took their time to get to, Savannah, which allowed the British to get, big and heavy. But had big and heavy in their forces, but had the French, and also the Haitian soldiers who fought alongside with the French, were they were able to take over Savannah, then they would have been able to stop the British from taking over Charleston. So that's the big significance. But the fact that they were there, they helped save hundreds, possibly a couple of thousand lives, American and French lives, by being there and standing there and fighting. It is documented by the British soldiers that they were stunned and surprised that the Haitian soldiers did not, the black soldiers, which is the largest black population of soldiers to fight in the American Revolutionary War, by the way, just to let you guys know, at that time, they were surprised that these soldiers, these African soldiers, did not run or hide. They stayed there bravely and fought the British. You know what I'm saying? A valiant effort in trying to defeat the British. So the American generals and soldiers that was there, that's how the Haitians gained the respect of the Americans. But if you read any books on the American Revolutionary War or Georgia or Savannah, the Haitian soldiers get little to no respect at all, or even any recognition. You know, I probably watched maybe 5-6 videos, and rarely, actually none of them ever mentioned the Haitian soldiers and how big of a part they played in saving lives of American soldiers. That alone, by saving hundreds and possibly thousands of lives at the Siege of Savannah in 1779, should be enough evidence and to push them into the history books. But it's not, so it's up to us to teach our youth this history. Because guess what? They're not learning this history. They don't know, but I didn't know about it. Therefore, if I didn't know about it, you know, most likely you don't know about it, because I read a lot. I read tons of books all the time. I'm an avid reader, avid researcher. Some would say amateur historian. In my own right, I'm definitely a historian and an art collector. And I didn't learn about this till the age of 27, years after I graduated college. Now, another thing I want to mention is the seeds that were planted in the minds of those Haitian soldiers. Those that did get captured, didn't get enslaved, because some of them did get, become enslaved by, the British and also some of the American generals. Oh yeah, he's black, because slavery was was in full effect at that time. You know what I'm saying? So they some were killed and wounded. Estimated 25 or more were recorded were heavily wounded, mortally wounded is the word that I read, or were killed. Now this was definitely a lopsided victory for the British, because they only lost barely 100 soldiers, and the French and Americans lost hundreds of lives. The number I read was about 214 soldiers, but I've read a lot more than that were killed. I mean, this was definitely a slaughter. One thing I like about Savannah is that they have like 800 plaques next to this fort that's a few blocks away from where the Haitian monument is. And so these 800 like plaques on the ground, or squares on the ground, represents the 800 lives that died. So the number is definitely inadequate, because if the British lost 100 and the history says about 214 died, that's 300 and some change that died. What about other 500? So but they have literally about 800 of those plaques out there, which I thought that was just quite impressive. If I'm not mistaken, it's 800. I seen it myself, so that was pretty cool to see the homage that they paid to the Haitian soldiers. Now, the seeds that were planted in the hearts and minds of those soldiers who did get free, who were able to finally get back home, but some of them didn't get back home. Some of those soldiers, Haitian soldiers, went to go fight in Charleston as well. So rightfully so, there should be a statue about Haitian soldiers in Charleston as well, because they came to fight some of the same British soldiers there. But those who were able to survive the battle in Savannah, the battle in Charleston, escape from slavery, being killed or mortally wounded, ended up going back to Haiti, like Henry Christophe, who became the king of Haiti. They came, and then 10 years later, 11 years later, 1791, was able to fight and start, the Haitian Revolution, which many of you all know was the first successful slave rebellion ever in world history to become a state, and definitely one of the first. It's the second independent nation in the Western Hemisphere, which is very, that speaks volumes. But we don't talk the information. Why we don't talk the information? Because it keeps us docile. It makes us think that we are inferior. You know what I'm saying? And when you think you're inferior, it does play a lot in your psyche. It makes you think that you're not good enough, you're not great, you are of little of importance, which is not the case, because Toussaint Louverture, who I haven't even mentioned yet, Toussaint Louverture, who started the war against the French in 1791, who actually stood up and bravely, fought against the French, led the Haitian soldiers there in the land of Saint Dominique, which today is Haiti. That war lasted about another 9-10 years and ended in 1803. Now, Toussaint Louverture, who most of y'all probably don't even know who Toussaint Louverture is, but if you know black history, then you know who he is. Or if you know a little of something, then you know who the Haitian Revolution represents. I always say that, and not just because I'm Haitian, but all black nations. I don't care if you in whatever country in Africa, whatever state you in the United States, whatever island you in the Caribbean, whether in Jamaica, Bahamas, the Virgin Islands, wherever. Everyone needs to bow down to the Haitians, to a Haitian that you know, and say, amen, thank you. We thank your ancestors, because we paved the way, and we're paying the ultimate sacrifice right now to this day. Just like older Americans, black Americans who were around during the well, of course they're not around now, but were around the post-Civil War, throughout civil rights and post-civil rights era. How they paved the way. All the things they had to go through, all the racism and white supremacy that they had to fight against. First of all, there's no such thing as white supremacy, but there is an idea of white supremacy. But if you know your history, then you know that Africans were the first astrologers, first scientists, first doctors of the world, first archaeologists, first astrologers. I mean, studying the stars. Like, we the first to do all of that. First doctors, first universities of the world, first scholars. You know what I'm saying? First builders. I mean, we did and started all of that. But the system is built specifically to take away our history, to make sure that we don't know who we are. Because like Malcolm X once said, and Marcus Garvey said this as well, following what Malcolm X was saying. Well, actually Malcolm X followed what Marcus Garvey was saying, but at the same time they both were on the same path, which was, if you don't know who you are, then you are whoever they tell you are. So that's why it's important to understand your history, understand the people who paved the way, because if you don't know your history, then you're just going to be here, there, and thinking that you're doing something good for your community, when in actuality, you're being detrimental to your community. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going by whatever the system is telling you, the European system of white supremacy is telling you. Because if you notice, everything that is inadequate, every maladjusted behavior of a black person is actually benefit to the system. So if you become a criminal, go to prison, guess who benefits? The prison system, who in turn feeds the government. You see, this government is about money and power. People think that racism was just something morally wrong. No, it was economically wrong, because this country of the United States and also Haiti was built on the backs of our African ancestors. Literally, blood, sweat, and tears, and they tried to take our spirit as well. And for some cases, they did beat and win and take our spirits. Made us give up our spirit to fight, give up our spirit to just be happy and love one another. Because you take someone's ability to love and smile, you literally defeated them. And so, back to the Haitian Revolution, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, there's so many countries right now to this day. There's so many countries right now to this day in Africa. 13 countries in Africa right now still paying France money, retribution for their freedom. 13 countries, and including Haiti, who just probably the past 5-10 years finished paying this whatever $1 billion of retribution for our freedom. See, that's backward thinking. And the president who signed off on that to even pay the French, that's ridiculous. Why would you agree to pay the French just so you can be under their good graces? You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I have some words to say towards the French government and the French people who are in agreement, or whoever in agreement with them, constantly, pillaging and exploiting African people around the world. But I'm gonna save that because I have a higher conscience and a higher level of understanding. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you what, I will tell them to kiss where the sun don't shine. Believe that, because for you guys to think it is okay to rob these African countries who can be self-sufficient, who were self-sufficient before they even came into the picture. Well, you talking about Burkina Faso, one of the countries. There's 13 of them in Africa, West Africa. There's a country called Burkina Faso, who was the name changed to Burkina Faso, which means upright man. There's a gentleman named former president who was assassinated, Thomas Sankara, who I'm featuring in my upcoming book, 7 Types of Kings, Queens Desire, which is a follow-up to my second book, 7 Types of Queens, King Desire. But in 7 Types of Kings, I'm going to feature several kings, black leaders, such as Thomas Sankara, who's able to stand up and tell the French, you know what, kiss my ass. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do our own thing. We don't want your money. We don't want your people in our country. We're going to build our own schools. We're going to create our own clothes. We're going to build our own hospitals, our own roads. We're going to sell our own cars, run our own government, our own economy. And within 4 years, the whole country went from poverty, from in debt, to thriving because he did that. Now, the blueprint Thomas Sankara, Toussaint Louverture left behind, we need to follow that. Marcus Garvey, we need to follow that. It's good to know history and to follow history, because it makes us feel good, and to pray and to give homage to our ancestors. But history is more than just understanding and recognizing heroes and sheroes. History has 1,000 answers to 1,000 problems. Dr. Amos Wilson always says that. It has 1,000 answers to 1,000 problems. So a lot of issues we face today, whether it's in Haiti, whether it's in different parts of Africa, the blueprints are there. These men paid with their lives, fought against the French, fought against the British, fought against the American government, so that we can be here today with lights running, lights on, water running, with electricity, things that we built, that we get little to no credit for. But our ancestors paved the way for us to do those things, and we need to step up. Because what are we going to leave behind for our generations that's coming up? What are they going to say? Or what? They just got to go back hundreds and thousands of years ago, decades ago? Or can they look back recent years to that, okay, we got the first black president in the White House. Okay, that's a good thing. But what did he do for black people? What did President Barack Obama really do for black people? Think about that. You know what I'm saying? We need to be building schools. We need to be building our own black nation within this nation. You know what I'm saying? There's little China, little Italy, Jewish people doing their own thing. Why can't, as black people, we create our own economic freedom? It's not that I'm saying that we can't function or be part of the United States. Of course, we support this economic, this economy, with spending trillions of dollars a year. Because black people, we got a big buying power. But buying is one thing, consuming is one thing, but producing, we need to be more producers. There's more respect and reverence for those who can produce things. Because when you produce something, can nobody tell you what you can and can't have, because you have the economic power to invest back in your community, and your community invests back in you. Our kids should not be flooding the prison systems. Our youth should not be flooding the prison system, the school to prison pipeline. They should be flooding the Wall Street. They should be flooding the educational systems. They should be flooding the the neighborhoods. Like I'm in Atlanta right now, right? And every day when I drive to work, You know, I'm a marketing director, for those who don't know. Professional marketing director, and of course I write books. These are my 2 books here. We should be having more black authors as well writing our history. This book was written by Chancellor Williams, and Destruction of Black Civilization. Everyone should get this book here. If you haven't not read this book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, and if you're black and you swear you love your history, if you don't know about this book, you're doing yourself an injustice, okay? Great book. Like Dr. Borshenga once said, read this 10 times till the pages fall off. As a matter of fact, it was because of Dr. Borshenga's why I actually went and bought this book. I might have read it 3-4 times, to be honest with you. Very good information. But I wrote this book here, my first book, The Courage to Believe, which is an inspirational autobiography. Get on my website, kevindorover.com. But the point is what I'm saying is that I drive to work and I see these empty buildings all the time. Empty, abandoned buildings in black neighborhoods. In Atlanta, there's tons of them. So gentrification is going on big time here. But what we can do is, if we ran our own economic structure, we had our own economic system, and we followed the blueprints of the economic system that our ancient ancestors created, whether it's back thousands of years in Kush, which is Ethiopia today, or Kemet, which is Egypt, or West Africa, the Mali tribe, or the Dahomey, which is Benin today, Benin. I always say Benin, but they say Benin. Follow how they were making money circulating. You know what I'm saying? Economy isn't just about money; it's relationships. And so this system, white supremacist system, has been successfully been able to divide and conquer us, to not support one another, to not buy, another black person's book. Oh, their information not valid enough. You know what I'm saying? They've taken away our trust and love for one another, or going to support these businesses that are shut down, because, oh yeah, black products or black stores and black services are inferior. No, that's BS. There's plenty of good, successful black businesses. Look at what Henry Christophe was able to build with his money for his people to protect the land. He built the La Citadel to protect the country against any foreign invasions. And if you ever go to this building here in Haiti, it is way up there in the sky. As a matter of fact, this painting is a good depiction of the Citadel. I bought it actually leaving the Citadel towards the bottom where the village is. Not too far from where his castle is. His castle used to be his palace, but it's literally up in the skies. This is magnificent. If I would have known something like this, if I would have known my people were able to do something like this or create something like this, it would have gave me a high sense of confidence as a young black male or a young black female. These things are important. Our females need to know about Queen Nzinga. They need to know about Madam C.J. Walker or Mrs. Malone, who was Madam C.J. Walker's mentor. They need to know about Harriet Tubman of the world, Phyllis Wheatley. We need to know about Booker T. Washington, the things he did. You know what I'm saying? Or even people like Elijah McCoy. When I was in Savannah, there was an old train almost 240 years old. Back then, McCoy was able to create a duplication system